day, dear students. Welcome to DepEd TV. I'm your teacher, Frenny, Teacher Rami. Get ready and enjoy learning English for grade 8 right in the comfort of your home. So come on, get your pen, paper, and your self-learning module and let's start to learn and to love English. Last episode, we discussed context clues, as well as the different types of context clues. I hope that you were able to understand our previous lesson on context clues, and I also hope that you were able to answer the activities and your self-learning module correctly. But don't worry if you didn't, because you will always improve yourself through learning. The first type of context clue is the definition clue. In the definition clue, the unfamiliar word is defined in a sentence. Next is the synonym clue. In a synonym clue, a similar word is placed in the same sentence to know the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Then we have the antonym clue. In the antonym clue, an opposite word is placed in the same sentence. Next, we have comparison clue. In comparison clue, an unknown word is compared to a more familiar word and uses signals such as similar to, also, like, as, in the same way, likewise, and resembling. Next is example clue. Samples are provided in the sentence to understand the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Then, we have explanation clue. A description is given to understand the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Then, we have cause-effect clue. The meaning of the difficult word depends on the cause-effect relationship of other words as expressed in the sentence. Next, we have list or series clue. To understand the meaning of the unknown word, it is included in a series of words given in a sentence. And lastly, we have the inference clue. To understand the meaning of the unknown word, one has to make a guess based on the description given in the sentence. Today's episode is another day full of new learning and knowledge. And to start off today's lesson, let's watch this video. How did you find that video? Yes, it actually showed stealing. Though not the usual stealing of money or material things, but it is still stealing. Stealing of ideas. And just like what Voltaire, a French Enlightenment writer, historian, and philosopher said, stealing ideas is more criminal than stealing money. Do you think that it is also important for our ideas to be protected by the law? That's right! The answer should be yes! There is actually what we call IP or intellectual property. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property or IP refers to creations of the mind such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used in commerce which are protected by the law. You have to make sure that when you write your academic papers or do your research that you cite or list your sources. Whenever you take specific facts, ideas, or quotations from a book, magazine, newspaper, or other sources, you need to write or list them, since they are actually protected by the law. We also need to cite or list our sources for the following reasons. First, it gives credit to the authors. Number 2, it provides you and the readers with more information about the sources. Number 3, it shows the writer's credibility, referring to whether his or her sources are reliable. And lastly, it prevents plagiarism, an act of stealing someone else's ideas and presenting them as your own. Take a look at our sample text inside the box. How many sources do you see? One way of citing your sources is through listing them on a separate page of your research or academic paper. Usually, citing sources is found in the latter part of a book. This page is what we call as a bibliography. So, what is a bibliography? A bibliography is taken from the Greek word biblion, which means book, and graphia, which means to write. A bibliography contains an alphabetical list of sources like books, periodicals, and websites used by the writer or researcher. Basically, there are various ways in citing sources. First, we have the American Psychological Association or APA style, which is used in social and behavioral sciences. Second, we have the Modern Language Association or MLA style, which is used for writing papers on literature and related subjects like theater or film. And lastly, we have the Chicago Manual of Style or CMOS, which is often used in many academic fields, especially in the humanities and social sciences. In this episode, we will follow the bibliography annotation standard specified in the Chicago Manual of Style 17th edition. There are also types or formats of sources of information. We have the print sources and the online sources. For today, we will first discuss all about print sources. Print sources are sources that have been published in printed format such as books and periodicals. Under print sources, we have books. These are the most common and reliable sources of information. This is the format in writing a book bibliography. First, write the author's last name, comma, and then the author's first name, period, title of book, colon, subtitle, period, place of publication, colon, name of publisher, period, year of publication, period. And here is an example of books with one author. Here is another example of books with 2 to 10 authors. And lastly, here is an example of a chapter in a book. Here's a tip. 2 or more authors should be listed in the order as they appear as authors and not necessarily alphabetically. For sources with more than 10 authors, include only the first 7 in the bibliography followed by et al., a Latin phrase which means and others. Number 2, periodicals. These are magazines, scholarly journals, newspapers, and newsletters published at regular intervals. Publication dates are essential when citing periodical sources. We also have journals. This is a published scholarly periodical containing articles written by researchers, professors, and other experts. This is the format in writing a journal bibliography. Write the author's last name, comma, and then the first name, period, open quotation mark, title of the article, close quotation mark, period, journal title, comma, issue information, period. Check out this example. Then, we have magazine. It is a periodical publication that contains stories, essays, pictures, and the like. usually published every week or month. This is the sample format of writing a magazine bibliography. Write the author's last name, comma, and then the first name, period, open quotation mark, title of the article, close quotation mark, period, magazine title, comma, issue date, period. Here's an example of a magazine bibliography. Lastly, we have the newspaper. It is a periodical that is printed and is usually distributed daily or weekly, containing news, opinions, features, and advertisements. This is the format in writing a newspaper bibliography. Write the author's last name, comma, and then the first name, period, open quotation mark, title of the article, close quotation mark, period, newspaper name, period, month, day, comma, and year, period. Here's an example of a newspaper bibliography. To solidify your understanding and skills of the topic, let us have an activity that will enrich your mastery of the lesson in writing a bibliography. The activity is a mystery bibliography entry. Solve the riddle and uncover the mystery bibliography entry. Then answer the questions that follow. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Bibliography riddle. The author of the source is named after a flower, quite popular to many lovers. She also has the same family name of that Filipino singer who sang the popular OPM song titled Tala. The source was published by a press company named after the little brown mammal with very big eyes, which can be found in Bohol and other areas in the Visayas. You can find that press company in the city, otherwise known as the durian capital of the Philippines and the home of Mount Apo. Its copyright year is the same year the first president from Mindanao was elected. For you to know the title of the source, you need to look at all the words written. Are there letters that stand out? Arrange them and you will find out. This time, answer the following questions. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Question number 1. What was the first piece of information about the source mentioned in the riddle? Question number 2. In what paragraph number was the copyright year mentioned? Question number 3. Based on the format of the bibliography entry, what type of information source is referred to? Question number 4. Which lines of the bibliography were indentions applied to? And question number 5. To separate the place of publication from the name of the publisher, what punctuation should be used? It's time to check your work. Here's the answer for the riddle. And here are the answers for the questions. Number 1, author's name. Number 2, fourth paragraph. Number 3, book. Number 4, second and third lines. And number 5, colon. I'm confident that you got all the answers right. And for that, job well done. I hope that by this time, you already have an idea of citing sources or writing bibliographic entries of printed sources. For our next episode, we will continue discussing the citing of sources or writing of bibliographic entries, this time of online sources. So that's it! Make sure to always stay tuned to DepEd TV and have a journey with me in Grade 8 English, where you will have fun and interesting learning experiences that will not just feed your mind, but also nurture your love for English. Again, this is your teacher Franny, Teacher Rami, saying, don't fret, because learning English is not a threat. Instead, it is our gateway to learn and understand more about the world.